Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope and pray that you're doing well. The passage that I read this morning was Hebrews 9, 11, and 12. It reads the following: But when Christ appeared as a high priest of the good things to come, he entered through the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this creation, and not through the blood of goats and calves, but through his own blood he entered the holy place once for all, having obtained eternal redemption. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with like sacrifice and how sins were forgiven back in the Old Testament. But just to recap, there was a high priest, right? Who was a high priest for once a year. And what he would do is he would enter in this sacred place in the temple, and it was called like the Holy of Holies. And there he would do these sacrifices on behalf of himself and the people around him, right? And they would have to sacrifice an animal to forgive sins. And what happens now when Jesus comes into the scene, Jesus now takes on that role as our high priest, right? And he's the one who goes into the Holy of Holies, right? And he does the sacrifice. And the crazy thing about this is that, in doing the sacrifice, he didn't bring in an animal to be sacrificed, but he brought it himself. It wasn't by the blood of goats or calves, it says, but his own blood. And just to think, like, instead of having a person who would come in with an animal, it was Jesus Christ who came in and says, I will be the sacrifice for the forgiveness of everyone's sins. And yeah, I know we've probably heard this 1,000 times and we know this story, but like it just made me think this morning, like, my gosh, like that's what he did. Like he went into a place of sacrifice, and instead of saying, here it is, he says, here I am, and sacrificed himself. And so I pray that you can meditate on that Jesus loves you, that God loves you so much. I pray that this encourages you and that we're reminded about just the sacrifice he made for each and every one of us. I love you guys. God bless you guys. I hope you know that God is always present. God bless. Bye-bye.